The compressor failed a few months ago, and we struggled to get a replacement unit, and we got that. And then my van's been in the garage for about 2 weeks. That's a bit busy, and they've been coping without it. Anyway, we're going to make a start changing this unit out. The condenser's pretty rotted. It's undersized. It should be that's a 5 horsepower hermetic, which is probably about the same as a 4 horsepower semi-hermetic duty wise, and this is a 2, I think, so it's undersized. So if the condenser was okay, we might have just put a rebuilt compressor on there, but even doing that, the thing's too small, so you're going to spend the money. There's not a lot of difference between buying a 2 horsepower unit and a 5 horsepower unit. You know, you can go up a few sizes and it's only another couple £100 sort of thing. Anyway, that's what we're doing. So we're going to get this electrics disconnected, pipework disconnected. This originally had one like that in there, but it's failed 10 or 15 years ago, and this has been chucked on temporarily and it's been on there since. So we've got suction, liquid iron, we've got the hot gas lines for the heat recovery to disconnect. We're going to take the fan off and save it, because the fan blades, these are obsolete now, so he's got 4 more of them on the other units there, so it's worth keeping that as a spare, so we can't get them anymore. I might save the receiver as well, that might come in handy. This I might take to the rebuilders and just drop it off. They can have it in stock then. You know, if they don't get the bodies back, they can't rebuild them. So rather than scrapping it, I'd probably drop it off at the rebuilders. Anyway, back on. Right, got the condenser off, fan. That's all off, so that could come off. Got a dead rat. I don't think he's going to help much. And then that's ready to go. Got all the pipes brazed up. And the suction. I don't know when we're going to be back. Busy Monday. But I need to get this going, because that's making some funny noises. It might be the fan. Okay, back on this unit replacement. We've got a piece of unistrut down there. Replace the aluminium with steel. What you can get with a discharge pipe, you get quite a bit of vibration, and after a while these cushion clamps end up chewing their way through the aluminium, and then the clips become loose. So you can see that one there is loose. You can see the dust on there, and the aluminium's blown away. So we're going to change that out and put a piece of steel unistrut in there. But if there's no vibration, the alley channel is fine. So anyway. Just bent this bit of pipe up with the rems bender, and that's going to go in there like that. That's our return from the heat recovery, and then we've got to join that into this one, that one into that one. But we'll get this one done first. So this one's probably going to have to come up a bit higher and hop over. But whatever we do, we need to make it so we can still take that fan motor out if we need to. Okay, that's that piece of pipe bent up in place. Just got to braze the 2 connections. And then we've got to link this one into that one. The liquid line's got to go into the receiver. The suction line, it's got to go onto the suction valve. We might spin that round the other way. And then we've got a fan speed control that's got to go onto that connection. Oh. Okay, so we've got that joint down there. It's a bit tight there. I'm going to see if I can get a clip in this to hold it rigid this end. And then we'll just put a loop in there. So it's kept all this out this way, so we've got plenty of room to change that motor in the future, or just take it off to wash the condenser. Okay, just got this running. Let's see what the pressure switch turns out for 20 psi. Should got about 15, 10 or 15. That's about 12. And then it should come back on about 45. The 3 bars, there we go, got the 3 bar, that'll do. Put some keys on. Handy little key for doing the valves. We did an acid test on the refrigerant, that came out good, so we've put the old stuff back in again. Got a new dryer on it. I'll clean all the flux off of the silver solder. I've got to come back and do some work on that one. I might leave it sit for a couple of days, it'll just soften it a bit with the air, dampness out of the air. That's just buzzing slightly, that pipe, so I think it's going to need a clamp there, just down that corner. Here again, I don't know if you can hear me over the noise of that unit still running. I don't want to shut it off. Got the new contactor and overloads going in. We've got a contactor that's rated up to 7.5 horsepower, and I think that's a 5, so I always go oversized with contactors. It just gives you a bit of a safety margin. They don't cost that much more, might be another £5 or £10. We're going to need an auxiliary contact on the top. I think these are normally open, normally closed. BFX 1011, yeah. That on the top, that's for the crankcase heater. And then we need some overload, so I'm not sure what the run current on this is. I think it might be just around 6 amps, so we might go for a 6.5 to 10. If it's under that, we'll go for a 4 to 6.5. Anyway, we might have to extend those wires. I think they're just going to be a bit too tight. This is a taller housing, I think, than the original. Unless we can find a bit of cable. Probably not. It's probably fairly tight in there. We'll just crimp some extenders on the end. Right, see if it works. Turns on. It should stop if I press that in. That is running backwards by the sound of it. It's running backwards, so we're going to need to swap 2 of the phases over. Okay, we swapped the wires over in the switch because I thought that was the easiest place to do it, because we'd already made the ends off in here, and it's nice to keep the red, yellow, and blue, all in sequence. And the same down here, red, yellow, blue, I think was, if I remember rightly, was the way we used to go live 1, live 2 and live 3, because the colours are changed in now. A few years back they went to brown, black and grey, and so it's confusing because blue used to, on 3-phase, blue used to be a live and black was a neutral, and now blue's a neutral and black is a live or a phase. So it's a bit stupid really why they changed it, but everyone knew what they were doing, because if you had where it got confusing, if you had a wire with red and black in it, black was a neutral, and then you could also get like flex, 3-core flex, and that might have brown and blue as live and neutral. But anyone who was working on it who knew what they were doing knew just by looking at it what was what. Anyway, enough whittling. So let's get this switch. One thing that's rubbish with these is you do that screw up, it tends to turn it on, which you don't want to do sometimes. So if you're putting that screw in, you need to hold the outer piece steady so you don't accidentally turn the switch on, tightening up that centre screw. Rubbish switches. I mean, who needs 7 screws to take the cover off? Anyway, I don't think they make them anymore. Right, let's try again. Sounds a bit better. Curiously, the amperage is about the same. Oh yeah, we're getting heat in that now. That's getting hot. That fan will start moving. There we go. It's off the speed controller. So that's that done. We need to put a bit more gas in it because we put the 4.5 kilos in minus about 100 grams that stayed in the bottle that we took out of the old system. The old one didn't have a leak, it's still a dub compressor. This one is about twice the duty of what we replaced, which is what the system should have had. So I would expect it to need more refrigerant because it's physically whizzing around the system twice as quick. Yeah, a bit of ice coming back there because obviously all the gas is sat in the ice builder because that's going to be around 0 degrees and it's a lot warmer outside. So where this has been off, it's going to have condensed all the gas into the ice builder. It's just melting now. You can just see it had a bit of ice on there now, it's just sweating. Anyway, that's that. 8 or 9 amps. The max run is 12.8 for the compressor, but we've got a single phase fan, so we've gone with a 13 to 18 amp overload. We'll start off with a set on the minimum, which is just about max run for the compressor with the bit on top for the fan. I doubt it'll ever work that hard because it's on an ice builder. Right, just took the, they put this shrink wrap around the valves. Just took that off, and this is these cheap rubbish plastic caps they've started fitting on these now. Tiny thin plastic, sort of 2mm thick. So someone's either over tightened that and it's cracked after, you know, or that these valves have been leaking, and what you can end up with, you can get a load of liquid behind there, and then if it warms up, the pressure goes stupidly high because there's not, if it's completely full of liquid, there's no expansion room, and if you can't get back through the valve again quick enough, it'll pop the cap. So hopefully we haven't lost anything because the price of this stuff's about £40 a kilo. Let's zero that. This should have 11 kilos in it, and the tare weight is 7.3. So what is that? 17.7. So that looks to be about a kilo short, doesn't it? My maths is right. 11, 7.3 should be 18.3, and we've got, oh no, about half a kilo light. Who makes these things? Half. Yeah, not impressed. All because they've saved a few pennies on a proper blooming cap. Looking a bit short, go and weigh a kilo in and see what it looks like. That's an extra kilo. That's the sort of cap they used to have on there. Yeah, there's another one, see? And then that's one A-gas use. Got these. Hopefully I've got one in here.